Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're talking about Good Burger 2. So Good Burger 2 is a comedy film directed by Phil Traill, starring Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. It is a legacy sequel to Good Burger, which came out over 20 years ago, and this film picks up around the same amount of time later. It's about 26 years later. So you got Dexter Reed. He is an inventor. He is coming up with all these great ideas, but his most recent endeavor causes his house to burn down. He has to start from rock bottom. His company closes down, so he goes back home and gets a job at Good Burger that is now run by Ed. So one of the things I enjoyed about this film is that it did feel somewhat very realistic in terms of like Ed and Dexter, they are still friends, but as time has passed, they don't really keep in touch as often as they used to. They are still friendly when they see each other. It's like, wow, I haven't seen you in a while. Your kids have grown up. They've gotten so big since the last time I've seen you. I really love the interaction between the two. And Kenan and Kel, I have loved them since all that, since the Kenan and Kel show, since they did the Good Burger sketch on all that. And I was a big fan of the original movie, and when they said they were making a sequel after all these years, I was super excited. I even ran out to Arby's and got the Good Burger meal there, which was okay. But their chemistry, it's still great. It's still amazing. I wish that they had continued working together all these years, because I really did enjoy seeing them share the screen together, and it really did touch at my heartstrings. It touched at my nostalgia just to see two of my heroes when I was younger working again, and it made me feel young, I'll say that much. And leaning into that, my favorite character in this movie is Kel Mitchell as Ed. He has still got it, and I know he doesn't appear in a lot of stuff as he used to, but his portrayal of Ed is basically the same as we left him in the old films. He's somewhat more mature. He has a wife and kids now, but he's a character who I would expect to be like that now. When you get to Dexter Reed, and when he starts behaving like he did as a kid, it kind of seems odd. So I'm not sure exactly what Kenan was trying to do with his character there, but I would have expected more for him having been so many years later. I wouldn't expect him to still be behaving the same way as he did. You know, there are some things that I feel do kind of come out of nowhere. Like in the first film, I don't remember Dexter having an older sister. It kind of seemed odd for me that she was there, but and she was played by Leslie Jones, and it really didn't take away from anything. It just, I feel like they made that character up for this movie. But there is an interesting relationship that Dexter has with his niece, who is in this movie. I wish they kind of played more into that, because his niece is also working at Good Burger. And I think they could have kind of jumped to the next generation with Dexter's niece and Ed's son, Ed 2, which, think about Ed 2. He's the only one of Ed's kids with a normal name. Everybody else's name are like ingredients, which was kind of funny. And the whole, like I said, the whole thing about Ed, I expected all that from him. But yeah, I kind of wish they had played more into Dexter and his niece's relationship, and like his relationship with his entire family, because it seems like he's kind of like I don't know, he's only contacting people when he needs money, and he has good intentions behind it, but like doesn't really pay him back or something like that. But I would have liked to see more about, you know, what is actually going on in his life outside of Good Burger. And that being said, I think a lot of that has to do with the script. The script really does feel like after Good Burger came out in the 90s, they had an idea for a sequel that probably would have came out a year or maybe 2 years later. But they sat on that, and it just eventually never got developed. And I feel like when Kenan Thompson has the pull now that he can get a movie made, especially for a streaming service if he wants to, where he does very well for them, he finally got it made. And they just dusted off that old script, updated a few things, and pushed it out. So like when you watch the movie, a lot of the stuff does seem dated. It seems silly. It seems like something kids would do, not that adults would do. And I wish they had taken the time to have somebody do another draft of that script, so that, you know, you can make somewhat of a better movie. Because even with all of my love for the original Good Burger and my love for Kenan and Kel and the nostalgia that this movie brought upon me, this movie's bad. It is not a good movie at all. Like in terms of a score, I'm gonna give it a bad 4.6 out of 10. I just don't think that it should have been made really after all this time, or it probably should have just been some kind of little special that they did. But doing all of that, you got Jillian Bell. She portrays Kat Boswell in the film, and it's fine for whatever she was doing, But I really wish that Kurt Schweiderman, sorry, I just messed up the name, Jan Schweiderman, who portrayed Kurt Boswell in the original film, the older brother of Cat Boswell in this movie, I wish he had returned, but he retired from acting in like 2007, and he hasn't really been in anything since. So I just wish they had, reached out to him and said, hey, can we at least get a small cameo of something like that? And there are other characters from the previous film who do appear. Some characters, unfortunately, have passed away. But like one of the characters, Shar Jackson, she was in the original film as a character. In this movie, she's herself, and it's in like some kind of flash of like stars singing that really looked cheap. But yeah, there's a lot of things that this movie could have done better. But again, I was very happy to see Kenan and Kel working together again. So excited. I hope that they do more things together. I would like an updated version of the Kenan and Kel show. Something of that nature, just to get these two guys, marinating and coming up with ideas. So yeah, for those who grew up with these characters, I think it is worth the watch, especially since it's on streaming. But like, if you're looking for like some kind of great film, just skip it. I'd like to thank you guys again for joining me for this movie review. Remember, you can find the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flicksfrog. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.